Hello, my name's Duncan and welcome to Baft Books and Back Away from the Donkey. And today I'm going to do a tag. Okay, it's not Tuesday, so it's not Tag Tuesday. I'm recording this on Wednesday, probably going to go out Thursday, so is this Tag Thursday or Wednesday? Who knows? The reason I'm doing one is I'm releasing some videos later this week and next week on overpopulation stories. And I've overcomplicated the overpopulation stories, so the videos are just taking me a little longer than expected. So I wanted to put something out, and this tag is an excuse for me to do a video on somebody that could have ended up being an incredibly long video if I'd done it solo because I've got questions. So I was tagged by Aaron Hook, who I'll give a link to below, and this tag was originally done by Melinda at the Web of Stories, who unfortunately I do not know, but I'm going to go and check her channel out, so I think everybody else should. And this is the Let Me Introduce You tag. And I was thinking this, I could pick some obscure science fiction writer or some less well-known one like Wilson Tucker or anybody along those sort of lines and do them. But I thought I'd do one of the biggies because, yeah, I think cause there's a lot of books to this. So I'm not going to do Philip K. Dick because I talk a lot about Philip K. Dick, as you noticed. But I'm actually going to do Isaac Asimov, who's up there with Philip K. Dick as one of my favourite authors, science fiction authors. And everybody go, oh, Isaac Asimov, again. But he wrote over 500 books, fiction, non-fiction, scientific journals, exploring Shakespeare, the Bible, you name it, he wrote it. There's a huge amount of stuff out there. Some of it's out of print, some of it's not. And so I thought he'd be a good one to introduce. He died. I said in a video the other day that I miss him because he died about 1995 or 98. And so I remember him publishing stuff. And it's always interesting, his ideas. He wasn't the best at characters, though he did get better. But the whole ideas, which is basically what a lot of science fiction is about. It's about your ideas. So, yeah. So that is who I'm talking about. So the second question is the type of books. Well, obviously science fiction. He wrote a little bit of fantasy. If you saw a book called the other day, I got a fantasy collection of his. Lots of non-fiction. I've got quite a few non-fiction. I started picking these up recently. I'll show you that one. That one. And that one. And these are all about various science topics. These ones I've got here. Eyes on the Universe. Stuff. And I've got piles of books here from Asimov. So yeah, so that's some of his non-fiction. And he also wrote science fiction as well. And he wrote critiques and journals. He was a professor of chemistry. Very, very intelligent man. Flawed human being, as everybody is. But his writing is up there. And for me, going on to question 3, where to start? If you want the big series, it's Foundation, and which to me is probably the best initial series. The first 4 books, are the best science fiction series probably ever written, as far as I'm concerned. And it's basically, if you don't know, it's the history of a galaxy. A man called Harry Seldon develops this concept called psychohistory, which can predict large portions of the future on large people. And he basically predicts the fall of the Galactic Empire and puts in place a foundation to make the period of darkness, of chaos, shorter. And these books just follow the stories of those. Especially the first book is a lot of men smoking cigars in dark rooms, but it's the ideas as always. For me, let me go for I've got so many copies of these books in different editions. So for me, these first 3 are probably the best ones. So we'll start with Foundation. This is the 1990s version of Foundation. And then Foundation Empire. This is my 1960s cover, which I love. And second Foundation with a lovely Chris Foss cover on it. Those 3, to me, are the basis of the Foundation. They are the Foundation trilogy. They are the initial ones. later on in life, 1980, when he did Foundation's Edge, he started to link up all the stories with his robot stories. So if you get... Sorry, I'm going to shuffle some books around here. Foundation and Earth is when he started to link up all the stories in his galaxies. And I'm normally not a fan of when writers do this, decide to link all their stories together in some weird concocted way. But he didn't do a bad job of it, but they're still very good stories. And then the final... And then you had Prelude to Foundation, so he did some prequels. If you're going to read the Foundation ones, and if you're going to read all of them, read them in publication order. Because a lot of the stuff you find out, you don't want to find out earlier, as far as I'm concerned. And that's always my recommendation for 99% of books, always read in publication order. Because that's the way that the author has fought through the stuff. And the final one is Forward the Foundation. I think there's 9-10 books anyway. And then there's a second Foundation trilogy, which was written by other people, which is Gregory Benford, David Brin. I can't remember the third author off the top of my head. So yeah, so if you're going to do the Biggie series, the Foundation bits, that's to start. But he wrote so much more. Short stories and robots. You might know iRobot, even though the title iRobot was actually taken from somewhere else. So if you want to go through his robot books, you can start with the short stories, iRobot obviously, any of the robot collections. 2 seconds, I will find one. I've got a copy of iRobot here, there's the rest of the robots here. So any ones with the robot stories in, always worth reading. Because basically Isaac Asimov, you could say, invented the modern idea of the robot. But if you want to go along his short stories about other things, there's a few I would recommend initially. The Nightfall books. Nightfall 1, which is a collection of stories. Nightfall is... And Nightfall 2. The story Nightfall is a great story. It was expanded into a novel, so I'm just checking what other stories are in here, because I can't remember off the top of my head. It was expanded into a novel with Robert Silverberg, which is very good, but the original story is fantastic. Oh yeah, it's got Breeds Airman and Sea Shoot, which are all good stories as well in that one. But yes, Nightfall is a great story. If you want to read the one he wrote with Robert Silverberg, that's good, the expanded one. But I would recommend reading the short first one. It's almost a novella, I'd say. But some other of his collections of short stories. The Winds of Change came out in 1980-81. A nice Chris Foss cover on that one, which has got a really nice selection of stories. Some of them first time they were published, and they've got really good introductions about where he wrote them for and his opinions on them. So that's quite nice. And one of his final collections, which was Gold, which is a mixture of some stories and some essays. If you like his essays, that's great. And that's good for collections. Now, if you want to go down the robot ones that aren't short stories, we have the Elijah Bailey stories. And these are the ones that he links up later, those and the robot ones, with the Foundation ones. Elijah Bailey ones is about the detective plainclothesman Elijah Bailey and Daniel Oliver, who's a robot, and investigating some crimes. The first book of that is the Caves of Steel. I've got I've got a few copies of it, but this one I love because this is a really early copy. Obviously I don't read this because I found this somewhere state that's in. And that's the first one. And that'll get mentioned in my overpopulation one. Because this is based on Earth. There's a murder from spaces on Earth. And what has happened in the galaxy is man is confined to the planet Earth. And it's incredibly overcrowded. But then you've got spacers who are the people who went out and colonised all these different worlds, and they are really spread out, and it's like two different peoples. They're not the same, and they limit how man can go off Earth. So that's the first of it. And then you've got the Naked Sun, which is the second one, which is, I love this cover. I want to get them all in these covers actually, which is great. And there's the third book, which I can't remember the title. My brain's gone dead. It'll come to me in a minute anyway. So yes, so that's the Elijah Baley ones. And I think they are probably my favourite ones. It's a bit of crime. They were quite... Elijah Baley's, like I said, he investigates these things, and he's a very typical Asimov protagonist in the way he solves these crimes and the way he investigates things. And if you read a lot of his short stories, you'll find the way he does stuff is quite in a very particular way. But yes, that is really my sort of starter kit for Isaac Asimov. There's lots more, and I could probably do a sort of 40-minute video just on Asimov and where to start with him. So if anybody's actually interested in that, leave a note below and I will look at doing that in the next few months. But I just thought this was an excuse for me to talk about Asimov for a change. I said I pulled all these books off my shelf. I've got loads of things. I've got so many Asimov books and doubles of many, many things. But anyway, I will speak to you soon, and keep an eye out for later in the week when you'll see some more bits on overpopulation. I've totally overcomplicated. And I might have another tag coming next week as well. So I will see you all very soon, and I will tag some people at the bottom. I'm not sure who I'm tagging, who hasn't done this, but a few of you may get tagged. So anyway, I will speak to you all very soon, and I'm going off to watch The Peripheral now. Bye for now.